So I'm posting this as an update on Sunday evening to the video I recorded late last night. I live in Philadelphia. There has been widespread rioting, protesting, looting, and violence across the city, even in my own neighborhood, several blocks from my house. It's been going on for the past few hours. At the time of recording, it's about 7:30 in the evening, 8 p.m. They've been tear gassing residential areas as well. So that there was looting and rioting along one of the streets that has a lot of businesses on it and stuff up my way. So, but there is a lot going on all over the city right now. A lot of major stores are being looted and vandalized and whatnot. And I don't really give a fuck about that, but Target's got money. I don't care. But the National Guard is here, as is, I think, some people from Homeland Security. I'm trying to keep up with the news and reports from Live on the Street as things are coming in. Cops have been tear gassing even peaceful protesters at this point, shooting rubber bullets. There's like police tanks and stuff, like literally several blocks from my house. So there's a lot going on and a lot unfolding, but I stand in solidarity. Black Lives Matter. Police brutality must end. And this has been a really trying time. I hope that the people who need to get the message, because those of us who live in cities or spend time in cities, we see this shit all the time. We know. What I find usually the people who don't get it are usually in the suburbs or don't live anywhere near a city, and they just don't see this stuff because they live mostly in white neighborhoods or white areas and things like that. So, it's scary. But I'm doing okay. I'm holed up in my house, and they've extended the citywide. Well, they pulled back the citywide curfew, which was supposed to start again at 8 p.m. tonight, back to 6 p.m. and have advised all businesses to close as of 2:30. I haven't looked at updates recently. It's gotten bad out there, so please stay safe, everyone. So yeah, there's widespread things going out around all over the city, and I feel bad for the small businesses in my neighborhood that were looted and vandalized, but Walmart, not so much. It's really chaotic out there, and I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. So I love you all, and here is the video that I recorded last night with some of my thoughts about everything that transpired yesterday as well. I'll be posting some updates as things go on. Much love to you all. Stay safe. Hey folks, welcome to my vlog. I've got to say, I am exhausted, physically, emotionally, morally. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the protests, which I fully support ending police brutality, and I support Black Lives Matter and an end to
white supremacy and systematic racism and stuff. I spent the past couple hours watching what started as a really peaceful protest turn violent, and there's been multiple fires started, and businesses now some are corporate. I don't feel so bad about a bank getting their window smashed in, but an independently owned business, I feel a little bad about that. It's exhausting. Actually, despite the noise outside, we are on mandatory curfew until 6 a.m. tomorrow. It just started at 8 p.m. Only, I think, like, official people, or, like, no one's supposed to, like, leave their houses kind of thing. Unless, you're like the police, ambulance, something like that. I forget what the emergency alert said. But anyways, I hear some of my neighbors, I think they're just out on their porches and stuff. My window in the bedroom faces the street. And some people are shooting off fireworks because it's West Philly. Why not? It's hard. About 2 hours of live views from on the street from people filming everything that was going on. And, when you're watching streets you walk down, especially when I worked downtown and I lived in South Philly, which was closer to downtown than where I'm at now. I'm like about 40 to 50 blocks away from where everything was happening. So, it's okay up here, but it's just hard watching, businesses that you support and restaurants and things you go to, being smashed and looted and stuff. But property can be replaced. Human lives can't. And while it's sad and I hate seeing my city go through this has to stop. We have to stand together, and there has to be an end to the police brutality, because I've seen it firsthand. I've gone to like Black Lives Matter marches and things like that before. And I've gone to nice white lady marches. The women's marches, cops are all friendly and, nice, and, there's no problems. I went to a Black Liberation March a few years back, and for a march that had maybe 100 people total, there was the police presence was probably about 3 to 5 cops per person that was at the march. And, I saw, it did end chaotically. People were being pepper sprayed. There were injuries. When you see cops lined up, when they have the bicycle, especially in cities with the bicycles in front of them, the way they're holding them, they're not holding them to, quickly get away, or they're holding them to use those as a weapon. Because I've seen them, what they do is they like bash the person in, they block them in with the bicycles and use those as a weapon as they're arresting protesters and things like that. So what struck me at this particular protest that I was at years ago was, as I was walking back, that there was probably about 5 or 6 full-length prison buses waiting. There was only 100 people at the protest. Maximum. One bus, maybe, if you arrested every single person that was there. That's how they treat. That's how the police treat Black and brown people in this country. And, I'm tired of seeing the oh well, peace, if this, if that, and then all the armchair quarterbacking of how. No, you don't get to say how people get to express their grief and rage and stuff. But on the other hand, if a lot of this is being instigated by the white MAGA, white nationalist stuff, that adds a whole other layer of bullshit on top of this. I mean, this country's been a powder keg for the past 4 years, if not longer. And this is going to happen. And it's heartbreaking because you know what? It's not going to stop. Stop after any of the names that you see year after year? Did it stop after any of this? After Ferguson? Did it stop after, I don't even know all the places because there's just been so many. And I know this has absolutely nothing to do with witchcraft. This is my vlog. I am just kind of talking about my life right now because I'm really, it's been 2 months in quarantine. I haven't seen my family, most of my friends, my boyfriend, etc. I've been alone for most of this. Holding myself together as best as I can. But and you'll hear sirens in the background because, they're literally, most of them are going downtown and stuff like that. And the thing is, it's like where I live in West Philly, I live in a historically and predominantly black neighborhood. Do I feel scared? No. Do I think my neighbors are criminals? No. Do I see the cops hassling people all the time? Yeah, pretty much. I've had to do last summer when the neighbors down the street were doing the fireworks and someone, the cops showed up and stuff. And I was the only white person there. And I had to do the stand there like, okay, there's a white lady here, so no pulling shit, thing. I kept my mouth shut because it was my place to let my neighbors speak for themselves. Because, when you're a white person living in a black neighborhood, it's not about centering your whiteness, and that's something you really have to not do. And I've learned that. And I've only lived here a year and a half, and I love my neighborhood and my neighbors. People care about each other. They look out for you and each other. They say hello to you. Have a blessed day. And, if you make eye contact, you're probably having a conversation, And that hasn't been the case anywhere else I've lived in my, almost 45 years on the planet. My next door neighbor thought my name was Rebecca for most of the time I lived there. Do I look like a Rebecca? Come on. So I stand with my neighbors in solidarity because also another thing too, historically about the community I live in, I live a few blocks away from where the 1985 MOVE bombing happened, where the city police dropped an incendiary device on a house. I'm not going to get into the whole history of the MOVE organization. It was a black liberation organization. In order to get them out, they dropped an incendiary device on their house 35 years ago, this month actually, and burned 2 full city blocks to the ground, killing several, a couple adults and several children in the process. So this is a neighborhood that has some very legitimate historical trauma. Like, it's an unwritten, or maybe written somewhere, rule, like, you don't call the cops here. I'm not going to call the cops because someone's blasting music or being loud or any of that shit. Maybe if there's a dead body on my porch, but I probably would actually just post to the local Facebook group first. So there's a dead body on my porch. What should I do? Because that's the thing, is when the cops are involved, you're risking black and brown lives. And when you see all these bullshit people like the woman in Central Park who called the cops, and Barbecue Becky, and all these white people calling cops on black people for just existing, they are risking their lives because the cops obviously don't care. And maybe there's a few that do, but their voices are overshadowed by the legacy of brutality of the police in this country. And Philadelphia has a long history of police corruption going back to the Frank Rizzo years. If you want more information on that, Google it. But where we need to come together as witches, I'll bring it back, make it somehow relevant, because there is a problem in the witchcraft community. Because I see this with a lot of the Norse pagan folks and in the left-hand path, is that there's been a lot of infiltration from the white nationalists. Those people need to be called out and removed from those groups and associations. And that's been a huge problem. I mean, there's a local group in around Philly called Heathens Against Hate, which work to, because now anytime someone sees someone with a Nordic, a runic tattoo on them, they assume they're a Nazi, not a Norse pagan. So they are working to reclaim their sacred, I want shit to get better. When I was, when I was growing up, like going back to when I was in high school, the whole Rodney King thing, and then the LA riots. I didn't understand why. I didn't understand that back then, but I do now. And you know what? You can't tell anyone how to grieve, how to have emotions. Those are their own. And after decades of the same shit happening over and over again, people are tired and fed up and angry. So protests are going to happen. Shit's going to get broken. All I want, and I fully support my friends and people out there who were protesting today, and and for those like my friend who shot some of the video footage, who bore witness to the things that were happening, I thank them. I mean, I used to go to a lot more marches and protests and things like that. I've just had a lot of joint issues over the years, so I can't really. My ability to walk great distances is not that great anymore, which sucks because I love walking. People are angry. People are fed up. And I understand. I get it. It's just hard on so many multiple levels right now. It's just exhausting. It's exhausting being alive right now. PA's, moving into the yellow zone, or Philadelphia area anyways, is moving into the yellow zone next week. So we'll see how that goes. And, with all the protesting and stuff today, at least most of the people were wearing masks. So that was good. But, how many of them are going to end up with COVID? Stand up for each other. Fight. Or none of us are going to survive. Sorry to be all like heavy and deep and like whatever. It's just been one of those days. But anyways, I love you all. See you again.